welcome to Getting to Good Enough, a podcast to help you let go of perfectionism so you can do more of what you love. I'm Shannon Wilkinson, a life coach in Portland, Oregon. I'm a recovering perfectionist who's getting better at good enough.
And I'm Janine Adams, a certified professional organizer in St. Louis, Missouri, and I'm lucky enough to be naturally good at good enough.
And today we're talking about how you're not actually behind.
How are you?
Oh, I'm doing pretty well, given that I'm just getting over a bit of a summer cold.
I hate summer colds. They're just not right. Well, the one nice thing about a summer cold, at least here in St. Louis where it's hot, is you get a little chill when you sneeze.
What are you talking about?
So when I sneeze, I usually get goosebumps. Do you get goosebumps when you sneeze?
No.
And so in the summer, if you're hot, it feels good.
I didn't know that about you, and I've never heard that about anyone. I've not experienced it myself.
Maybe I'm the only one who experiences that. I don't know. But I'm sorry
it's really
that
cute, though.
I always try to look on the bright side, Shannon.
I know.
I'm sorry that you have a cold. Summer colds, they're just not right.
Yeah, it's fine, but I apologize. I probably sound a little more nasally than normal.
A little bit, but we can tolerate it. We,
okay.
Being me and the reader and the listeners.
Oh, well.
I'm speaking for them.
Yeah, that's nice of you to be so generous on their behalf.
Yes, it is.
Well, so what are we talking about today?
You're talking about how I'm not behind.
Yeah, you're not behind.
I'm not behind. Oh, excellent.
Do you feel like you're behind sometimes?
Yes. Sometimes I feel like I'm behind. And when I do, I feel, it makes me feel bad. It makes me feel sort of anxious and like I want to hurry up. And I know that hurrying up usually doesn't help me. Like that kind of stress doesn't help me get stuff done. So I try not to think that way.
Yeah, I think it's pretty useful to recognize that isn't a helpful tactic. Like, I don't know, when I feel behind, I'm much more likely to make mistakes, I think.
Absolutely. Yes. And I feel like when I'm feeling stress in general, I'm much more likely to make mistakes. And feeling behind definitely adds stress. I just accidentally knocked my desk with my knuckle.
Ow!
I was gesturing. So sorry for the
noise. You were very emphatic about that.
I know. I was acting like you. I mean, you're the gesturer here. Usually, my hands stay still, but I feel strongly apparently about this stress of feeling behind. Yes. So how I can't imagine we're the only ones who feel behind, and I haven't managed to formulate a great strategy for not feeling behind. Do you have wisdom on that?
Well, I think the thing about that feeling behind, and it goes hand in hand with that feeling like you need to catch up. I think they're, I don't know, they come together. They're partners in crime.
What would Geraldine say? They're kissing cousins.
Yeah, they're kissing cousins.
Right.
I love that. But I think the thing, when you're feeling that way, it's a good time to stop, reassess where you are and how to get where you want to go. I think a lot of times that feeling of needing to catch up in particular comes from a false idea that there's something you can, that you're trying to reach some point, which is probably not actually reachable. I think about people who talk about wanting to catch up with their task list or their mail or something like that. And I think the problem with that is that it's like once you're caught up, then you can relax and you don't have to worry about it. But really what would be more useful is thinking about a system that allows you to maintain what you want to maintain.
Mm-hmm. A couple things jumped in my mind while you were talking. One is like, feeling like you got to catch up or you're behind indicates that perhaps you think there's a finish line, and there really isn't a finish line in life except for death, right?
Yeah.
Probably. I mean, really. I mean, even when you're retired and living the life you dreamt of, you still have to, pay your taxes. You still have to do stuff. So that's good to keep in mind. And the other thing is, when you said what you said at the beginning of that about when you feel that way, it's an indication that it's time to sort of step back, take stock, and I can't remember what else was after that. Except what I want to say about this, and then I'm going to ask you to repeat it because it was so good, was that it gave me this sense of peace. It was like, oh, yeah, that's right. Just step back, take stock, and then, get a realistic view of how things are. And it's not like, instead of beating yourself up for being behind. And if that feeling of I'm behind can trigger a positive step like that, that's excellent. Mm-hmm. But what was it that you had said? I can't take notes because it would be scratchy on the paper, on the pen.
You're kidding that you think I actually remember what I said, right?
No, I don't. I believe that you know what the idea was of what you said. You don't have to repeat the words. You said you stop, you take stock, and then think about your goals.
Think about what needs to happen for you to get where you want to go.
There you go. What needs to happen for you to get where you want to go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Instead of thinking about, oh my God, I have to get all this stuff done, I'm never going to get it, I'm so behind. And I suck.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, and that's the real problem with this feeling like you're behind or that you have to catch up is that it so quickly translates into, I suck, I can't do this, what's wrong with me?
I'll never get it done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's all pretty self-defeating self-talk.
Correct.
So instead, turning your attention to what you can do and then taking action on that can be much more inspiring and make you feel like you're making progress and headed in the direction that you want to go.
Mm-hmm. And also, maybe in that process you see where you might be able to delegate or reach out for help to accomplish whatever it is that you feel behind on, right? To just make your situation better instead of beating yourself up.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think it's also the opportunity to let go of some things. I think
you mean some of the things that you feel like you're behind on? Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's so easy to feel like you have to do these things because you took them on for whatever reason, when maybe you don't. Maybe they don't need to be done.
Maybe that you can declutter your task list.
Yeah.
Yeah. That feels nice.
Yeah, I think it's so easy to get caught up in that, like, oh, I said I was going to do this, so I need to do it, feeling like, do you really?
What's going to happen if you don't?
Yeah. And, there are certain things that you do need to do. And, there are situations where, if you committed to something and other people are involved, it's really worthwhile for you to live up to your end of the commitment. And there are also situations where it would be totally reasonable for you to let something go. So to be able to take a step back and look at all of the things that you're trying to get done and assessing them from that perspective can be really helpful.
Yeah, it's just reminding me a little bit of our episode 53 about preventing overwhelm, and we talked a little bit about saying no to things, requests, to commitments that don't fulfill us, and letting other people have a chance to do certain things and volunteer things, for example. This sort of is the same thing in a sense. Sometimes if you let go of let's say it's a volunteer job that you've already committed to that's making you feel behind and you're doing not a great job at it, everybody might benefit if you let somebody else take over the job.
Yeah.
That doesn't have to be a bad thing. Or,
Right.
Things happen, right? Things intervene in our lives that sometimes make it hard to feel like you're staying on top of things. And if you can just let the stuff that isn't important to you drop off, that can be really helpful.
Right. I think that's such a good thing to remember, is to keep sight on your priorities and what really matters to you, your whys, and put your energy towards those things. And one of the things I was thinking about is if you sort of are in this mindset of like, oh, I have to catch up, and then you catch up, and then you sort of like, whew, now I can breathe easy. And then you're in a position where you're behind again, and then you're having to catch up. And so it creates this sort of gnarly cycle that's stressful, as opposed to sort of figuring out, what's a reasonable way for me to keep up with what I have to do here. And is it reasonable for me to keep up with this thing? Like I've been dealing with my email a lot, and for a number of reasons, my inbox got very, very, very full over the last few months. And so I've been processing the email, clearing out my inbox, and then thinking like, this is more email than I want to handle in a day. What can I unsubscribe to?
Oh, good.
And but I think thinking about it from that point of view, as opposed to, oh, there might be something interesting in this newsletter I get, thinking about like, do I want to deal with this newsletter every time it comes in? Right.
Or do I I can create a rule for it and put that newsletter in a folder, but do I want to just watch the number of unread messages in that folder increase?
Right.
Yeah. And you can just unsubscribe. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, it's funny, I sent out a message to my list last week, and I was actually sort of pleased in an odd way when I saw unsubscribes coming through. There were just a couple of them, but I was like, I felt good thinking like, oh, those people know that what I'm doing is no longer of interest to them, and they could either learn from me elsewhere, or they're no longer interested, and they're taking care of themselves and unsubscribing.
Well, that's a nice way to look at that.
And I was like, I didn't even try to feel that way. I just felt that way when they came through, and I was like so happy. It was such a funny thing.
I remember one time writing, and I've sent out a newsletter every month, and I've done it for a long time, I think. I can't remember. I think I started in 2007 or something. And one time my newsletter topic was encouraging people to unsubscribe from newsletters. And and I thought maybe that wasn't smart. And then I realized, well, people who would have to read it in order to know that I said that. And
right.
So so probably there were plenty of people who weren't reading, who weren't unsubscribing, which doesn't do me any good.
Yeah.
But also, yeah, if they're not getting benefit from it, and they are reading it, then by all means they should not subscribe, because it's just cluttering up their lives. But I didn't get too many unsubscribes from that. It worked out okay. But yeah, you do want readers who actually want to hear from you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would much rather have a somewhat smaller list of people who are happy to see me show up in their inbox than a big list of people who are like, who's this? Or like, oh God, oh.
Yeah, right. It's true. Her again? Right.
Yeah.
But I don't, like, I have a hard time unsubscribing from newsletters of people I know. I'm afraid they're going to feel bad, which they're probably not even noticing. But
yeah.
It's not healthy on my part. But I have no trouble unsubscribing from strangers.
Yeah, I realized that I'm subscribed to your Organize Your Family History blog twice. Mm-hmm. And I can't remember if I did it or not, but I went to unsubscribe and then I felt compelled that like I needed to send you a note to say why I unsubscribed. Did I do that?
Right. No, but I actually don't. The funny thing is I don't pay any attention to who unsubscribes from my newsletters. So.
But I felt like if I did that, I think I might actually still be getting two. But
please, by all means, unsubscribe for one of them.
Yeah, but it was sort of funny. It was like, I felt compelled to like tell you, I'm only unsubscribing because I'm double subscribed.
If I'd noticed it, I probably would have said something to you. Like the what?
Yeah.
No.
Fine. Don't ever ask me for advice again. Because that's how you are.
No genealogy advice for you. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think the idea of reframing what it means when you feel like you're behind or that you want to catch up is really important and useful.
Mm-hmm. It might mean you need a break.
Yeah.
I mean, if you feel like you're on a hamster wheel, you need to step away for a little while.
And I also think it means that you probably need a better system.
Yes. And a shift in perspective coupled with an improved system could be really wonderful.
Right. I'm thinking, there are times like when you come back from vacation, say, you're going to have a buildup of work to do potentially to get through. And I think the key, and we talked about this in a couple different episodes, I think, but one that comes to mind is like where we talked about, was it batching or backlogs? Mm-hmm. And the idea of rather than just, trying to get caught up with what you have stacked up from being away from work for a while to then end up with new stuff coming in and piling up, figuring out a way that you can sort of work through that backlog in batches while keeping up with the new stuff. Mm-hmm. And I think that in the travel episode we talked about, ways to sort of give yourself some space on with your trips to allow re-entry so you don't have so much stuff to do. I think we talked about that a little bit too.
Yes. Yeah, I was really lucky with this trip I just took. Last week I got back Friday before 4th of July, which was a Thursday, right? So almost a week before the 4th of July, and I had like so few obligations that holiday week. And I was totally de-stressed. It was an unusual feeling. It was really nice. And I was so much more clear. Everything was clearer. So I'm trying not to stress. That's my goal now, is to just chill. Be more chill.
I like that.
Yeah.
Well, you're generally a pretty chill person.
Well, I'm glad you feel that way. Sometimes I don't, but I try to be.
So, yeah, I think it's just really useful to keep in mind that idea of what to do when you start feeling like you're behind or you're feeling this urge to catch up. And to, check in with yourself, what's important, reassess what you feel like you need to do and decide what it is you actually can do.
Yeah, I just think that's just a really great idea to make that feeling, that sort of negative feeling, be the, I want to come up with a better word than trigger, but that's the only word that's coming to mind, the prompt to make that little self-assessment. I think that's a great way to turn it around. And I can't wait to try it.
Yeah, I'm sort of excited too. I don't often feel like I'm behind anymore. I think I used to feel like that a lot. But I think as I've gotten better about assessing how much time things are going to take and then really padding that and adding a big buffer, that it's not something I feel as often as I used to.
That's great.
But I do like having this in my back pocket, like, oh, now's the time to reassess. Ooh, I'm feeling not good about this. Let's take a minute. And I know, too, it's hard when you're feeling behind, when you're feeling like you just can't get caught up. It's hard to take what feels like extra time to set up a system. But doing that is going to make such a difference for you going forward. If what you're feeling behind about, what you can't seem to get caught up with is something that you're dealing with on a regular basis.
Right. Yeah. If it's something that you're dealing with on a regular basis, that's no way to live. So you've got to figure something out to alleviate that.
Right.
Your system, decluttering your task list, delegating, hiring help, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if it's something that's just happening sort of on a regular basis, but not around a particular type of task, like it's not happening around, say, mail or email or something. I'm thinking of things that are, repetitive like that. If it's just sort of happening on a regular basis, like you constantly feel like you're behind, then it may be useful to integrate more reviews into your days or weeks, just so you can see where you're at and then reassess for the next day. Or even you could do it each midday, like you can decide what you're going to do in the morning, see where you're at, and then reassess for the afternoon, so that you're not working off of an idea of what you need to accomplish that is dated and impossible.
Right. And the thing that jumps to my mind is perhaps setting up interim goals so that you have markers that help keep you on track, so you don't feel behind. If your goal is the completion of a big project that you're nowhere near getting, nowhere near finishing, you might feel more behind or worried than if you had each of the individual steps and checked them off as you went.
Yes, I think that's a really good point. And it also may be a good time to use, if you don't necessarily have steps that can be broken down that small, to think about time, spending X amount of time on something. And then, if this is a long-term project, spending a certain amount of time, seeing if that's moving you forward at the rate that you want to be going, and continuing at that, or maybe allotting a little bit more time or a little less time, whatever, but to create ways that you can see your progress, that you can perceive your progress in some way, so that you feel like you're accomplishing something.
Yeah,
as opposed to just having this big, this big thing out in front of you that feels a little overwhelming.
Yeah. Use the timer, my favorite organizing tool.
Yes.
Yeah, my best friend, the timer. Yeah, that's a really good point.
Yeah. So, anything else to say about how you're not behind?
No, I think I feel I've said everything I can about how I'm not behind. No, I think it's a really great message that none of us is behind.
Right. All right. Well, then we would like to hear from you, our listeners. Do you feel like you're behind a lot of the time? Do you feel like you're trying to catch up? Do you have any tips or ideas that you would like to share? You can leave us a message at 413-424-GTGE. That's 4843. You can head over to the show notes at gettingtogoodenough.com, where you will also find links to all of our social media on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. But for now, this is Shannon Wilkinson in Portland, Oregon.
And Janine Adams in St. Louis, Missouri.
And we hope that good enough is getting easier for you. I'm so glad I got through that without sneezing or coughing or...
You did pretty well, Shannon.